Light, how y'all doing? Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you so much. We got some Falcons fans here tonight. That's what I'm talking about. If you're not a Falcons, you're just a hater for no reason. I mean, we already know you're not from here. Anybody having a Super Bowl party? Yeah. You know, I was going to have a Super Bowl party myself, but Trump just messed up my snack game, man. That's right, man. He got in an argument with that guy from Mexico, guacamole, $10 a pint. I mean, how am I supposed to make my nachos great again? I complained about it to my wife. She was like, why don't you just use some alternative snacks? Is that a week old? Is that too late? It's too late for that? I'm using it. It's staying on the card. But yeah, he got an argument with a guy from Australia. I can't even get a blooming onion now. And I tell you what, as soon as I find out which country is responsible for cheddar biscuits, we're going to march, okay? We're going to march. But you know, it's hard out there, you know, political climate and everything. It's hard out there, like, for gay people. I got a lot of gay friends, but I also got some ignorant people in my life that think that gay people is trying to destroy marriage. And let me just tell you the people that's trying to destroy my marriage. Number one, my wife, okay? Number two, her mother. Number three, that Hamilton soundtrack. I hate that damn thing. I'm not the only one that's had enough. I know these things. But we got a lot of healthcare folks out here. All right, that's what I'm talking about. This is great, man. This is a very safe crowd. Yeah. I got a day job. Like H.G. said, I'm a doctor, and my boss said that I can't say the name of the place that I work, but it rhymes with Shadish Memorial. Okay. It does. I'm an ER doctor there, and thank you. I'm not very good at it, so I'm sad about it. I'm really not. But people ask me, because I work at Shady, they say, what's the worst thing that you've ever seen? And that's a very simple answer. The worst thing I've ever seen was my first student loan bill from Sallie Mae. Am I right about that? Yeah, I tell you what, boy. But, you know, working in the ER makes you kind of like a different kind of person. And I'm really like a different kind of parent. I mean, not in a bad way, but when my kids get off the bus from school, I like to make them wait outside for about 3 hours before I see them. Get the whole experience. Yeah. I take the parenting seriously, though. I got asked by my kid to do the career day, and she's like, Daddy, you want to do career day? And I was like, yeah. And I told my wife, I don't know how to talk to kids like that. And what she said is what I need to do is find something those kids can relate to and then just kind of go from there. And so I went upstairs, and I looked around. I found some old toys. The next day, I showed up, and I was like, hey, kids, you guys like G.I. Joe? They're like, yeah. And I was like, well, at my job, I pull these out of people's butt. I do. Yeah. But you guys did that already? Yeah. We have a special box where we keep all of them. There's like a whole set of G.I. Joe, light bulb, Coke bottles, all that stuff. But, you know, I like being a dad. I like it so much that a couple weeks ago, I took the kids, I took a vacation at home, and I let my wife, she went off out of the country, and I was alone with the kids for 2 weeks. And let me just tell you that the bar for fatherhood performance is extremely low. I mean, there was no expectations beyond basically not killing the kids. And the thing is so mom has the kids for 2 weeks alone. What happens? Nobody even bats an eye, right? Nobody cares. Dad has the kid alone for 2 weeks. People act like mom has died. That's very true. I mean, basically, everybody wanted to give me a pass. glass or a casserole. It was a very unique experience. You know, I got a 9-year-old and I got a 4-year-old, and I took my 4-year-old to school, and I walked her up to the front and dropped her off with the teacher. The teacher looks at the kid, looks at me, looks at the kid, and says, "You're just doing the best you can. I get it." Sometimes it's not always obvious which of the clothes are pajamas. And in my defense, half of this kid's clothes have a little princess, the other half got a little pony on it. None of them say nighttime use only. It's not easy to figure out. It's not easy. But if the 9-year-old talks back, I can't even feed that kid a nutritious dinner anymore. I sat her down and she's like, "Daddy, I don't think it's appropriate that we eat this for dinner." I was like, "Yes, you can eat that for dinner. It don't matter that it says Lunchables." That's just one of the optional times. I mean, look, nobody's going to stop me from having a breakfast burrito right now. Just saying. But you know, I really like being a doctor, and it's fun. But you know, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that it's not always about the numbers and things like that. A lot of it is kind of intuition, but it develops over time. Like the first time somebody asked me about it, it was like 1999 or so, and I saw a patient in the ER, and I came out and told the supervisor and doctor, and he's like, "Hey, you know, Dr. O, I know what they teach you, and I know the lectures and stuff, but I want to know, why don't you just tell me what's in your gut?" And I was like, "You know what? You don't want to know what's in my gut because generally it's cheddar biscuits." But the intuition, it gets better. It gets better and better over time. And the thing about the physician that's a human, and we're better than the computers because we figure out things that a lot of people don't put together. For instance, like if you're a white guy and you got a tattoo that says Thug Life, I know you run a meth lab. I do. It's true. I'm not. It's not a lie. If you're a black guy that has a face tattoo, I know you're not going to take these medications because you can't even take advice. I know this. One of your friends had to tell you that was a bad idea. One of them did. But it's true. But you know, like you guys may or may not know this, but if you put a human physician with a computer, then the human physician performs just as well, if not better, than one of those big fancy computers. And a lot of it has to do with the way that we understand the human language, right? For instance, the phrase "too much," right? So if you came to the ER and said, "Hey, Dr. O, I had too much beer," and I would say, and the computer would say, "Well, looks like you're drunk." And you could come to the ER and say, "Hey, you know, Dr. O, I had too much cheddar biscuits." And the computer would say, "Hey, Dr. O, looks like you probably got indigestion." But if somebody comes to the ER and says, "I had too much crack," well, the computer might say crack overdose. I would say this man is crazy because he thinks that somewhere there's an appropriate dose of crack. Very simple.